Good morning to all. Myself Shasra, and today we are going to continue on elementary shapes. Firstly, in my previous video, we had learned about so many things, the quadrilaterals. And today in this video, we are going to learn about the 3D shapes. 3D shapes. Now let's continue on this. So basically, what is this 3D? 3D, the full form of this D is dimensional. 3-dimensional. Now you will ask, what is this dimension? So the dimension is the thing which you can measure. How you can measure things. For example, let's say if we have a shape like this, so we can measure the length and we can measure the breadth. So that means that the shape is going to be 2-dimensional because we can measure two things. So now let's study first what is 0-dimensional, what is 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. So first thing, how does the geometry start from? Where does the geometry start from? A point. All the things are just made up of this point, like this. So let me highlight this a little. Now can you measure the length or a breadth or anything about this point? Of course no. So that's why the point or the dot is 0-dimensional. What about 1-dimensional? So for thinking of that, we can think what comes next after point. So many points when come together, it forms a line. And as you can see that a line, the length of a line could be measured. Now then that's why we say the line as 1-dimensional. Now what about 2-dimensional? What comes after the line? When we join many lines together, we get a polygon or a curve. So that is going to be a figure and that is going to be a shape. And as we already know that when there is some shape, we can measure two things. What we could measure? Yes, the length and the breadth. So we can measure two things when it comes to the shape. So that's why we call the shape as 2-dimensional. And we can also say it as figure. Then 3-dimensional figure. Now when it comes to 3-dimensional, we stop using the figure word. We start using object. Now if you will look around you, then you are going to see 3D shapes all around you. For example, let's take this marker. So this marker is 3D, 3-dimensional. Yes? That's why we can say it as object. Now you will say, what are the 3 things which we could measure? So first thing which we could measure is the length, then the breadth, and then the third one is the height, or you can say depth, or you can say the thickness. So the third thing is a height or a depth or a thickness. These 3 of them refers to the same thing. So the 3-dimensional shapes. Today we are going to talk about these. Now let's start. So firstly, I think you know some of them, like the cubes, cuboids. Let's talk about these one by one. Let's start with the cube. Okay, so I have a cube over here. Let's start with let's see the cube first. So how does the cube look like? So cubes look like something like this. And you can thought of a cube on each other, and then we will get the 2D shape. From the 2D shape we will get the 3D shape. Let's see how. So if you are going to put a square, then a square, then a square, then a square, then a square, so at some point, what happens at the some point? At the some point it gets the height, the third thing which we could measure, and then at that point it becomes 3D shape. So you can thought about the biscuits. So if you are going to put a rectangular or let's say square biscuit on each other, one upon each other, so what you are going to get? A cube at some point. So let's see. So cube can be thought of square putted on each other. Now what is special about this cube? Like the square, all the sides were equal, and the same thing happens to the cube. All the things, all length of the cube, breadth of the cube, and the height of the cube are equal, and that's why it is known as cube. So now let's understand three more things, three more interesting things. I think you know that. So when it comes to 3D shapes, then we got faces, edges and vertices. Let's see. So what is a face? Normal. The face, which is just the visible part to us. For example, if I am going to take this duster, for example, so this thing you can see. So this can be thought of one first face, and then this is the second face. This one is the third, this one is the fourth, and at the side this is fifth, and this is sixth. 6 faces. So these are the faces. What about edges? Edges are just the line. And now if you are going to thought about the edges, they are also in 2 types. Circular edges and straight edges. Straight edges, very simple. Edges are what? The outline, the lines. So if we will get a square, so this thing will be an edge. This thing will be an edge. This thing. So these all are straight. So we can say it as straight edge. But when it comes to a circle, so this has a circular edge. There is an outline of a circle, right? Like this. So this is a circular edge. Now, what about vertices? So basically vertices, we had discussed these in my video of angles. So if you have not seen that, just click on this I button at the corner, and then you will get that video and you can go through it. Now, vertices. Let me remember one word, vertex. Now, vertex is the corner. In the angles, we had said that this one is a vertex. And yes, this is basically a corner. That's why the corner, you can thought of the vertex as the synonym of the corner. Now, when the many corners are there, so then we have to use the plural of vertex, and then the plural of vertex is vertices. Now let's move on. So we will thought of the cube, how many edges, how many faces and how many vertices are there. So let's see that. Let's see that together. So if I'm going to draw a cube, like this. So this is a cube. Now, how many vertices, how many edges and how many faces are there? Let's see. So, we can say this front face, we can count these all. So, this one will be the one face. Then the opposite side of that is the second face. And now these two faces at the sides will be the third and the fourth face. And up and down faces are 2. So 2 plus 4, 6. That means there are how many faces? 6 faces. Now, then we have vertices and edges. Now, if it comes to vertices, we can count it very easily, right? This number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 vertices. Very simple. Now at the last, it is edges. What are the edges? Just the lines. Now let's see. So first, second, third, fourth. Then fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 edges. Now, these are the number of faces, edges and vertices of a cube. Now, I think that it is clear to you. Now, let's move on to the other one, the cuboid. And if we are going to talk about the cuboid, there is one special thing. So, cuboid, okay, I think that before talking about the cuboid, we should talk about the prism. And that is going to be interesting because it is something which we could do it before knowing the cuboid. Let's start learning about the prism and then we are going to learn about the cuboid. So basically, what is this prism? So there are so many prisms. Now the technical definition is that if you will put any 2D shape, let's thought about the circle. So if you are going to put the circle one upon each other, if you are going to put that again and again, and then the shape, the 3D shape which you will get is known as a prism, and more specifically circular prism. Then there is a triangular prism. How it could be obtained? By just putting the triangle together, many triangles one upon each other. Now one upon other. Now like that there are so many prisms. What you have to do to get a prism? Just take any 2D shape and just put it one upon each other, one upon other. Then you will get a prism. Now I think it is clear to you. So if we are going to look the cube, it is basically the square. Put it on each other. So we can thought of as like the cube is also prism. Now let's take the cuboid. Now talking about a cuboid, how does it looks? Like this. Now, if we are going to see the cuboid, it looks something like this. So this is a cuboid. Now can you see something very interesting about this? If you are going to put some cubes on each other, then you are going to get a cuboid. Don't believe me? Let's see. So this is a cuboid, and if you are going to cut it this. Like this. So this could be thought of one first cube. Let me draw it. Now, so this can be thought of a first cube. And then the second cube. And it could be thought of the third cube. So when we put cubes on each other, then we can get a cuboid like this. Cuboid. Now then it comes to the faces and then the edges and vertices. So how many edges, faces and vertices does a cuboid have? So do you know that a cuboid has the same number of faces, edges and vertices, like the same number of edges, vertices and faces like the square. It has 6 faces, 8 edges and 12 edges and 8 vertices. Let's see. So if we are going to count that, let me draw a nice picture of the cuboid. Like this. Now then faces, vertices and at the last we have the edges. Now for thinking about this, we can take this duster, something like a cuboid. Now as you can see that how many faces does a cuboid have? So firstly we can count this. So first face, second one, so these are the 2 faces, then third and fourth, and then here and here, fifth and sixth. 6 faces. Now what about the vertices? Very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4 and here 5, 6, 7, 8. Or you can count in this also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 and 8. Now what about edges now? So let's have this again. So edge, this number 1, number 2, number 3, 4 and then 5, 6, 7, 8 and at the last these one 9, 10 and 11 and 12. 12 edges. Let's see in this also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and then 9, 10, 11 and at the last 12. So can you see something similar to the cube and the cuboid? There are same number of faces, edges and vertices in these both. Now can you see one more thing? That when we put square one upon each other, then we will get a cuboid also. Yes. So if we will take a square and if we will start putting it again and again and again, and that at some point we reaches at a height at which the length and the breadth of a square is equal to that length of the height. The height. Then if we will keep adding the square again and again, and then at the last we get a cuboid. So the cuboid is also known as a square prism. Nice. And do you know one more thing about the prism? That if we are going to put the any shape, any 2D shape on each other, then you are going to see a one face. When you get a 3D shape or 3D objects, so you are going to look or you are going to observe that at least one or two faces are rectangular, or you can say at least one or two faces are going to be rectangular, as you can see in this cuboid also. These faces are rectangular, and so logically if you are going to put any 2D shape on each other, then the bottom of that is going to be that shape and the upper of that is going to be that shape also. So when you get a 3D shape, 3D object, then at least two sides are going to be that shape, that 2D shape from which you had started building a prism. Now let's see one more thing. So I think we are done with the cubes and the cuboids and the prism also. And in my next video, we are going to go through the cone. Yes, cone, very simple. If you are going to put the circle and then the smaller circle on that, and then again a smaller circle, and then so on and on, then you will get a cone. And then we are going to learn about the cylinder after the cone, and many more 3D shapes. So for now, let's end over here. And thank you for watching this video, and have a cheerful day ahead. If you want any improvement in me, so you can comment it in the comment box. Thank you.